Alright, so the second half of this example is going to give us a specific case. So it says, suppose the total output of the service department is 20 million over a certain period of time, and the total output of the production department is 40 million. So the service department's giving out $20 million worth of goods, and the production department's giving out $40 million worth of goods. And we have 3 questions to answer in regards to that. So part C is asking how much of the total output from the service department is used within the service department. So basically, how much from service to service. Well, we know that corresponds to 5% here. So that is going to be 5% of its total output. So that would be, our total output is 20 million. So you can do 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros there, 20 million, or you can leave it in terms of millions and just go with that 20. I'm going to go and write it all out. And we know that it's consuming 5% of its own output. So I want 5% of this, so I'm going to use that decimal, so 0.05, and that's going to give me my answer. So it's going to consume $1 million worth of its own services, its own goods. So there's the first part of that. And we have a second section to go ahead and fill out. And I'm just going to label this one too, because this one was from S to S. Okay, and that's going to come in handy for another part of our question. I'm just going to label it like that for now, and we'll come back to it. So the second part says how much input is required from the production department. Okay, so that means we're going from production to services. But then we're talking about how much the production produces, okay, which is not 20,000, it's, 20 million, it's 40 million. And we know the service department requires 4%, so we're going to multiply that by 0.04, which tells us that we are using, or consuming here, $1,600,000 worth of goods from that department. So this was from the production department to the services department. Okay, part D says how much of this total output for the production department is used within the production department. So this one's going from production to production. So from production to production, that's 1% of production's total output, which is $40 million. So we're going to do 40 million times 1%, at 0.01, and that's going to give us a total output of $400,000 being consumed, not really output. So production is using $400,000 worth of its own production here. Second part, it says how much input is required from the service department. So we're going from service to production here. So from service to production, that's 20% of service's total output. Well, service's total output is $20,000, that's $20 million, and it's 20%, so we're going to multiply that by 0.20, which tells us that they are consuming $4 million. So this is where those labels are going to help us out here. It says, part E, combine the information in part C and D to find how much of the total output from the services and production departments will be available for sales demands outside the company. So basically we calculated how much is being used or consumed within the company. We need to figure out how much is left that they can actually sell and make money from. So we're going to do one at a time. We're going to do services first. Okay, well, we know services starts off with $20 million, so we're going to start with our $20 million. But some of that's being used within the company, so we're going to have to take some of it away. Well, we are taking, right here, $1 million is being used from services to services. So the money that services produces, we're using $1 million of it in our service department. So it's not even leaving the company. So we're going to take away that $1 million that's being used. But that's not it. We also know that from services, production is using $4 million as well. So subtract 4 million. And that's going to tell us what's left. So this is our total output, what's being used in one department and a second department within the company, and we're going to have what's left. So 20,000 minus technically 20 million minus 5 million leaves us with $15 million worth of goods that we can put out and make money off of. Alright, so the service is done. Now we're going to need to calculate productions. So production is starting with $40 million. So So start off with that 40 million. And we have to take away, so that one was used already. So basically we're going to be using the ones that are left here, because these are coming from production, And those are the amounts that we're going to be taking away here. So I'm going to take away the first one over here, 1,600,000, and I'm also going to take away 400,000, because those are being used within or consumed within the company. And that's going to tell me how much product is left to actually satisfy demands outside the company. So 40,000 minus technically 40 million minus technically 2 million here leaves me with $38 million from the production company that can be used to satisfy demands outside the company. And this is a setup for our next section, and what our next section's model is going to do is it's going to take all of this and put it in matrix form, so we don't have to do all these little calculations. We can just set up the matrices, plug them in our calculator, and it'll do all these calculations for us.